when I was deep in that darkness that I stopped connecting with other people. The strongest way for people to heal others is like having community, and everyone is just given a space to be able to heal and to do better. There's so much more than like what your mind can create or put you in that box. You know what I mean? So many times I thought it was over so many times, and I'm here right now, and I'm grateful.
You or a loved one is facing mental health challenges or addiction. Remember, you're not alone. Jackson House can help. Hold on to hope and take the first step towards transformation.
So I go by Leven November. I'm an artist. I came to Jackson House from LA. I am originally from North Carolina. I was born in Chicago, the south side of Chicago in Cook County. And yeah, I came to Jackson House in September, on September 11th. That's my sobriety date. And yeah, after I graduated from there, I went through West Coast, and now I am living on my own at a sober living, and now it's like real life again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at today.
So, can you share a little bit about before you walked through the doors to Jackson House, what was happening in your life, and then what actually got you to go into treatment to begin with?
So yeah, just like so I've traveled a lot. Like my family, my mom's side, they're from New York, and my dad's side, they're from Michigan, and I come from a very artistic family. And then from a young age, I was very creative and very I stuck to myself. I lost my best friend at a really young age, and he showed me a lot of the things that I value today, and appreciate. A lot of my artistic, I guess, influences and inspirations came from my best friend who passed away. And me and him, we were very close. I consider him a brother. His name was Ray. Um, and yeah, so like I grew up like super fast, and I left home, right after high school. I ended up getting in some trouble when I was younger. I went to a correctional facility that was run by the National Guard. Don't suggest that for anyone. It was not fun. I I learned a lot there, but I also I was institutionalized, and they really tried their best to instill fear in me. So the way I was moving when I was younger, I learned a lot from my experiences, and just kind of like just freeballing it as like, this young kid out here trying to make it in the world. And then I ended up getting deeper into drugs and stuff. Yeah, like, and then being a creative person and just like being in the realm of people that are just exploring and finding themselves, and just a whole wasteland of just like all types of energy. So I moved around a lot when I was younger. I moved to Oregon when I was 17. I got out of the correctional facility when I was around 17, and there was a small period where I lived with my dad, and then I moved away, and I had moved in with one of my best friends that I grew up with when I was around 17, 18ish, because I was 17 when I went there, and I graduated like around my 18th birthday. So, and then I ended up moving to Oregon, um, and things just like, I was, I come from a good family. I love my family. I have nothing bad to say. We all had our trials and tribulations, you know what I mean? But we ended up, there was we were butting heads on certain things. I felt like I was causing a lot of stress on them. So it kind of just turned me into specifically, I feel like I was turning into a recluse because I didn't really want to deal with them. So I kind of went, me and my brother are very close. Me and him went, and we did a lot of we made a lot of music together. He's an engineer. He's very talented. Me and him did a lot of work together, did a lot of shows together, seen a lot of different things. And yeah, so I lived in Oregon out there for a while, and slowly I just came more and more disconnected to like the root of like where the pain was, and kind of like started to disassociate. Like I feel like my the identity that I had came to fully embrace, and just started to lose myself, and thinking outside of the box, because when it's such a vast universe, I feel like inside of your mind, like you still have to come back to the source, and still come back to who you truly are, you know what I mean? So I lost myself within a lot of that, and I had to get away, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people, so and it's all love to everyone through this whole entire journey, but, it's, and everyone's on their own path. So, like, I had to truly find it within myself to not wanna be a part of, like, the, I guess, like, always be a part of the crowd or the life of where things are exciting and, be okay with just being within me and not always, because I'm like, this stuff comes from way deeper than just me wanting to get high. It's like I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm extreme. I've always been into extreme sports. I've always loved like just like, everything that wasn't regular. I was super on that. So it was like, I dipped from I got away from wanting to be anything that was basic or trying to look like somebody that I wasn't and just, embrace who I was creatively, but that also led to such like extremes when it came to like, just crashing and burning and destroying things and burning bridges and just not caring, not caring at all about like, like if I harmed other people or what my family thought, like I just started to completely go on a path of, individuality over anything and not wanting to even have any parts to do with any of the norm or whatever society I feel like has to it's almost feeling like, from where I come from trying to program you to kind of like be a certain way, and I did everything to escape that. Everything.
Yeah. Was there a breaking point for you, or like what was the moment where you said, I need help, or did somebody force you to get help? Like, how did that all come about?
So like, they always say like, at least like from my standpoint now from the stuff I've seen, the people I've been around, it's like you can't like truly make the change if it's not like personally what you want. Like if like your family's pushing for it, whether it be like, your partner pushing for it, it's like you have to truly want it. I had been to rehab before because I had just crashed and burned so much. So I was like what else is there? But this last time, like, I truly, like, I guess, like, I saw everyone else. I was, like, suffering myself, but I truly saw everyone else suffering around me and was like, man, and I can tell, like, how much these people would love to have a voice to call for help, but it almost seems like they were so consumed. And I felt like I was kind of, like, blessed to kind of be the only one in that environment to be able to pick myself up by my boots. Of course, like, I believe in something bigger than me, but, it took a another force and another inspiration that was not only within myself, but that's I feel like, the spirit of the universe for me to truly evolve and want to change for myself.
Yeah.
No.
So if you can recall, when you walked in the doors of Jackson House, you were at the Golden Hill San Diego
Yeah.
Treatment Center.
Mhm.
What was it like for you? Do you remember that, like walking in and how you felt?
Yeah, I remember walking in there and I felt like it was it was so different for me and it felt like it was such a step out of my orbit from what I was used to and it was something I didn't know that I needed, you know what I mean? And then once like, because of course I gotta get in there and I'm just like withdrawing and just getting all these toxins out of my body. I felt like when I actually sat down and started talking to people and really started to connect with what was going on there and the reason why I was there and really open up. You know what I mean? It was a very welcoming environment. It really was. And that's like, from what I've learned too, it's like the connection is the opposite of addiction, of the disconnect that we feel of isolating and being alone and not feeling like everyone can relate or you know what I mean? So it was very accepting when I got there. I had a bed when I first got there, so I was pretty comfy. That was sick. I had a place to sleep, but it was really like right when I actually started to because a lot of this, it's like somebody can, you gotta like, you can only lead the horse to the water. So like I chose to talk to people. And the second I chose to like open up and like listen and like not just be like, oh, like what is wrong with me? Like I hate everything, this angry negativity, spewing it all over the place. Like the second I was like, you know what? No, let's not be like that. Like, and then I started to see something different and yeah, ever since then, it's like, like it's like a mindset thing for me when I got there. It was it was it was the best environment that I could have been in to I feel like push me want to open up and be
Yeah.
more social and be more not only real with myself, but like truly be honest with other people and see that I wasn't alone in this battle that I'm dealing with, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
It sounds like you allowed yourself to become vulnerable,
yeah.
and yeah. So you mentioned that you had done other treatment before. Was there anything that you noticed that set Jackson House apart from other treatment centers?
Honestly, like, yeah, like what stands out to me was that like I was literally catapulted from that situation into West Coast,
Mhm.
where I came out here. And I had, I had no plan on staying there. I didn't know where my life was headed. We're completely, just freelancing everything, and I didn't know where I was gonna go. I didn't know what my aftercare plan was, and the staff there, they really helped me um, traverse like those grounds into where I ended up here. Like they really put the work in to make sure that wherever I was going after was going to make sense, and that it wasn't just going to be me blindly just kind of like, because one of the biggest things that I've learned is to take suggestions and to not think that I'm a know-it-all, because I'm a genius. But when I actually started to listen and take suggestions from the things that they were saying, it led me to a place to where I knew that where I was going to be safe, and to where I was able to put my next best foot forward and to keep moving.
Mm.
When I left Jackson House, it felt like I was coming into a place that was familiar, that like was was leading me towards the growth that I had been seeking. It was like, and it seemed like it was even though I didn't know exactly what was going on, it was going to be the next most positive step for me, rather than me going back into chaos or going back to where I came from. So it was like, I think like that's a huge part, and it's the community, and it's them keeping you plugged in, and it's the fact that they do the alumni thing. It's the fact that they check up on the clients that have been through there. It's the fact that they're dual diagnosis and they don't just focus on one thing, and it's just really like well rounded when it comes to just recovery and just healing each other. And that was a huge thing for me. Like because like that's one of the things that when I was deep in that darkness, that I stopped connecting with other people. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was like a revamp for me to truly like reconnect and like really plug back in. I think that was a huge part for my recovery.
Yeah.
You know?
Besides the connection part, was there any tool that you took with you, like after you left West Coast and got back
Mhm.
into, the real world? Is there any tool that comes to mind that you revert to often that you
Mm.
learned, whether it was at Jackson House or West Coast?
Yeah, I would say like definitely for me would be accepting a helping hand, and I always like it. Like I say that because like, sometimes it takes a different kind of nudge for different people. And I feel like that's what's great about Jackson House and West Coast, is that it's so well rounded that somebody that might not need the same kind of help will still be able to have access to things that are maybe not as common in other treatment centers, the way that they do things. You know what I mean? It isn't the kind of place that isn't just trying to force you medication. It isn't the kind of place that just wants you to follow their rules and shut up for your stay. You know what I mean? I've I've been through my share of, yeah. It's been a roller coaster. I was on a tour. I guess you would call it, of rehabs, a tour there for a little bit. Yeah, yeah. So like I would say the fact that there isn't just one way for you to go about your recovery, and the way that they give you access to more than just one option. Especially the fact that I feel like I chose like what was best for me, but there was definitely still other options that I could have went with.
Mhm.
But like they didn't make me feel like I was trapped, or that I only had like one solution. That was really huge for me. I was at West Coast for 3 months, around 3 months. I thought, I went with suggestions, like for a minute, like that was a problem for me, like taking help or accepting help from other people. I wouldn't want to feel like, it's a pride and ego thing. That's what was like keeping me away from even like coming here in the first place. And when you've been there and just been through so much, sometimes it's exhausting. I was very blessed to because I actually was referred to Jackson House, and then from Jackson House came here, and it was through the network of my insurance. And yeah, and I remember when I got in contact with West Coast, it took however long it took, but they didn't shy away from the care that I needed. A lot of people, especially like when it comes to young adults and the youth, like it's so hard these days to break away, I feel like, from life and the responsibilities, for whether it be financial responsibilities or family responsibilities. And we're just in a different day and age now, and I feel like when it comes to like people really speaking up and truly being a voice for you know the community within not only addiction and mental health. um it's just sometimes it takes more of a force coming from the actual soul of the people, rather than it just being medically, or um like basically everything just being so intellectualized. Because like I feel like you can know everything about, okay, I'm sad, or okay, I'm going through this, or like those mental diagnoses, and really actually just needing someone to listen and someone to talk to, and having a lot of people come into these things, they don't have a support system, they don't have a baseline to even maneuver, or to and I see a lot of that, like I said too, like my own pain. I've been suffering and struggling with, just navigating life. It's just like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like this is easy. I don't think that most people would, I mean, even not to judge or anything, but people that come from different walks of life that you might even perceive as being privileged. I don't think that this is really easy for anyone. I think everyone has their own hurdles and obstacles to go through, whether it be your mental health, whether it be substance abuse, whether it be different complications within your family or your upbringing that just kind of like put a damper, or just kind of make it harder for you to maneuver mentally, or it's always you know it depends on somebody's upbringing and situation. Nobody's the same. And I think the strongest way for people to tap into to heal others is like having community in a place to where it's not just going to mean one thing, and everyone can be on their own path. But if it's very people are uplifting each other, and everyone's growing at a rate to where no one's judging each other, and everyone is just given a space to be able to heal and to do better.
Mm.
Oh.
You mentioned that you participate in our alumni program.
hmm
What can you say about the alumni program?
The alumni program is fire. I rock with the alumni program. Yeah, it keeps you connected, and we don't forget where we come from, from that. And it keeps everyone, I feel like, the I think, like, not just like, of course, people being able to come together, but just to have like a community after, or whenever, like, however, whichever way you end up going, to be able to know that there's still people that have been through and have an understanding about like the obstacles and just the struggles of people, and to know, like, there's a community out there. I think that's the biggest thing with that.
Mhm.
I would say that there's so much more than like what your mind can create or put you in that box. You know what I mean? Like, I would tell someone that there's always another way. Um, and I don't mean like, because everyone, like I said, has their own struggles and their own things that they go through, but you don't have to succumb to wherever that dark place is and completely submit to whatever that means, because it's not the end. Like, I've thought it was the end so many times. I thought it was over so many times, and I'm here right now, and I'm grateful. So it's like, especially people that aren't just struggling with whether it be substance abuse, whether it be whatever it is, whether it be mental health issues, whether it be just all different types of dynamics that are making someone struggle, and just kind of just hardships in general. I feel like if you can reach out and you can have an open mind and an open heart to accept somebody else's um help and energy to get you out of that place, I think that it's definitely worth it not to, just not to just cut off and just, delete. Yeah. My name is Leven November. If y'all want to ever look at my music or my art, you can find it on all platforms. Um, and this is why I'm here. And it is a blessing to be here. And like I said, rather than just delete, you can control alt delete, how to reset. So that's where we're at today.
If you or someone you know is on the fence about treatment, we would love to walk through your concerns with you. We offer a free confidential consultation where we can better understand your needs and walk you through the details of treatment. Reach out today so we can learn how we can best support you. 888-255-9280 or visit us at jacksonhousecares.com.